So without any further ado, I will jump right into NFL Week 16 recap, starting with the Christmas Day game between the New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Vikings. And the main headline of this game was fantasy leagues were won and lost, and a record was tied on the shoulders of Alvin Kamara, who had an unbelievable day. He rushed for 6 touchdowns. That is tied for the most rushing touchdowns by any player in NFL history. And he put up a 50-burger, and a lot of fantasy championships were won and lost on the back. So I had to also throw in that he was a top fantasy performer for the week. And that's a big win for the Saints as they continue to hunt for the 1 seed, although it looks like they have less and less of a shot at it based on a Sunday night game, but we'll get there. The next couple of games were played on Saturday, which was interesting, but it was nice to kind of have a whole 3 straight days of football with some bowl games sprinkled in from college football in between. The first game on Saturday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just destroyed the Lions, who were missing a lot of their coaching staff due to some COVID complications. And this is a team that has continued to be kind of on and off, but when you're playing a team without their coaches and a Lions team that was also missing their starter, Matt Stafford, they showed that they have the potential to be a really, really scary offense and have a lot of different weapons. So they all but have they did clinch their playoff berth for the first time since 2007. So it'll be interesting who the Bucs face off against in that first round of the playoffs. Next game, the Raiders and Miami played on Saturday night, and that one had a wacky ending. This is the second time in a month that Tua Tagovailoa has been pulled as the starter of the Dolphins for Ryan Fitzpatrick. And Ryan came in. The Raiders so there was about 6 minutes left in the game. The Raiders had scored a touchdown. The Dolphins come down, score a touchdown, take the lead with the extra point to make it, I believe, 23-22. The Raiders drive all the way down the field, kick the go-ahead field goal, and there's about a minute left. Miami's got no timeouts left, and Fitzpatrick has the ball. He steps up in the pocket, and the defender comes and grabs his face mask as he pulls, so he's looking away as he throws the ball 30 yards down the field into a soft spot in coverage. Absolutely blown coverage by the Raiders. I don't know how this happens when you drop a bunch of guys in coverage, and Fitzpatrick throws an absolute dime while his head's getting ripped off by the defender, and the 15-yard penalty gets added onto the play, and the Dolphins nail a game-winning field goal with 1 second remaining, and that's a huge win for them in terms of playoff seeding, as we have 4 teams now in that AFC wildcard picture, all at 10-5. The Ravens, the Browns, the Colts, and the Dolphins, all at 10-5, with only 3 of those spots available for the playoffs. Next game to talk about was an early Sunday game, and the Jets are now officially one of the hottest teams in football, 2-0 in their last 2 weeks. And they get a win against the Cleveland Browns, and you can't really blame the Browns too much as all of their starting wide receivers were out due to COVID contact tracing. So there was only so much they could do on the offensive side of the ball. Apparently, I saw a tweet where the Browns had to run a walkthrough with their new wide receivers in the parking garage in New Jersey before the game because they had never gotten reps together because it's all practice roster guys. So yeah, it's a tough one for the Browns because they could have clinched a playoff spot if they had won today with the Colts losing, but they are still in control of their own destiny as they go to the Steelers next week. And if they win, they're in. And we're just praying for the Browns because I can't even imagine if they had such a fantastic season and they end up missing out on the playoffs because they went 10-6, which is a pretty respectable record. The next game I want to touch on is the Chiefs clinching the first round bye and clinching home field advantage all the way through the playoffs until the Super Bowl with their win against the Falcons. And the Falcons continue to find heartbreaking ways to lose. Their defense played really well against the Chiefs. And in the end, they missed the game tying field goal. And the Falcons, once again, are losers. Their record could be better. It could be worse. It's hard to really say with this team, but they've been playing a lot better since Dan Quinn got fired. And this was a good showing against the Chiefs, but they are well out of the playoff race. So there's not much incentive for them at this point. Another playoff implication game that I want to touch on, and kind of in conjuncture two together, we had the Washington football team losing to the Carolina Panthers, and at the same time, the Dallas Cowboys beating the Philadelphia Eagles. And this means that Dallas still has a shot after losing Dak Prescott to that brutal ankle injury in Week 6. They still have a shot to make the playoffs in the NFC East. With the winner going to have a record of 7-9, most likely, depending on the outcome. It could actually be 6-10, which is bizarre to think about. But the Eagles are finally eliminated after the season they've had. Jalen Hurts showed some great stuff the last couple of weeks, but it just too little too late for the Eagles, as they weren't able to turn their season around. But the NFC East just continues to be the gift that keeps on giving, especially around Christmas time with all the crazy stuff going on in that division, and everyone still has a shot. Even the Giants are still in it. And it'll be Washington playing Philadelphia in control of their destiny. If they win, they're in. So that'll be a fun one to watch next week. And then the last game I just want to talk about was the Sunday night game. The Green Bay Packers really increased their chances of getting that home field advantage all the way to the Super Bowl with a huge win over the Tennessee Titans. And this was a battle of two teams with amazing offenses and pretty shaky defenses. And obviously the Packers had the advantage of playing at Lambeau in the snow, in the cold. It was a great aesthetic game to watch. Always nice to see some snow football. And the Packers still put up 40, which is crazy in the snow. And Devontae Adams, if the MVP didn't go to a quarterback, then he could definitely be in the conversation as a potential MVP candidate this season because of just what he's done at the wide receiver position. He caught 3 touchdowns today, 142 receiving yards. And I guess his quarterback in this scenario, Aaron Rodgers, is looking to get a tighter hold on his MVP. It's kind of him and Mahomes back and forth, but Rodgers, I think, has a little bit of a stronger case just based off of the numbers and some of the primetime performances he's put up, while Mahomes has kind of looked like he's taken his foot off the gas, and yet the Chiefs continue to win this season. So the Packers play next week, hoping to lock up that 1 seed, and that'll be a great game to watch. The last kind of playoff implication I want to talk about is Arizona dropped a huge game to San Francisco. That means the Chicago Bears have jumped into the 7th seed in the wild card. And so that'll be another interesting kind of development to see next week. The Packers and the Bears playing each other. Packers looking for the 1 seed. Bears looking to clinch a playoff spot. Great rivalry between the two. So it will be fantastic to watch. And I'm really looking forward to that game. And that wraps up week 16. It was a pretty interesting week. A lot of bizarre results, especially the Jets winning once again, and COVID, of course, impacting teams once again. But we got 1 week left in the regular season, and then we're on to the playoffs. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll preview it on Friday.